What sucks about being your age? Being retired. The two things that really suck are 1. Watching good friends pass away yearly. 2. Having to push through the aches and pains of old age to do the things you enjoy. But I realize that I'm luckier than many of my friends who have had hip, knee or shoulder replacements or open heart surgery. Wrinkle cream and acne cream. Mid to late 20s. Feeling like I'm way behind from where I should be by now. Being sore because I slept wrong. Being 50. I better find something good. I'm 29. 5 couples from my friend's circle are expecting a child or recently got married. A few others have built a solid foundation in their career and are buying houses. Most of us grew up in apartment buildings, so it feels fancy to own a house at 30 where I'm from. Meanwhile, I'm currently a student and broke. It feels like everyone's so far ahead in life that they'll always be a step further and I'll never catch up. Once your friends start getting married and having kids, shit becomes lonely. Balding. Back pain. Bad vision. I'm 23. At 73 I am reminded daily, by my body, that I'm not 25 years old anymore. I'm too old to take up most action sports. The body doesn't bounce back like it used to. That shit's real. And too young to retire and just fuck off all the time. The early 30s is that weird age where you're just old enough to be out of touch with what's cool, but not yet old enough to be fully progressed in your career to be sitting on enough stacks to not care about that. Getting there at least. My body is starting to feel the aches and pains older people have told me about. It's not terrible, just really annoying. I'm 25 and the whole existential dread of figuring out what to do with my life is probably the worst part of things. I'm old enough that I should have my shit together, but I'm too young to have my shit together. When you finally understand what Mark Twain meant when he said, "Youth is wasted on the young." Edit. Quote is from George Bernard Shaw. Or maybe Oscar Wilde. When I was late teens to mid-20s I used to make fun of my dad cause his not being able to read small print newspaper etc. Because letters were blurry. He would ask me, "Steve read that for me, it's too blurry." I come out and say to him, "What's the matter to old, your eyes can't make out small print?" His reply be, "You just wait, you fucker get my age you will go same shit." Well, some 15 or so years later I had some blueprints out on table. Concrete construction I do. Had some details I couldn't make out, so I, "Jesse, come here, can you tell me what that says?" "And I be a motherfucker," my son's reply was. "You getting too old, dad can't read that." That moment years back of me telling my dad pop up and thinking if what my dad told me going happened to me one day. He was just saying that he is okay not to forget about him from the grave. Love you, Pops, I'm sure your eyesight is better. I'm not sure if this happens with all people my age. But I'm 18 and people, specifically my parents and close family members but not limited to them, will use the, "You're 18. You're legally an adult, you need to be doing these things on your own." Whenever it will work in their favor, then immediately go back to, "You're still just a teenager, you're still my kid." Whenever I try to be even the slightest bit independent. 26 Everyone fucking asking what you're doing with your life. I don't know. I don't want to talk about jobs. How old are you? I'm 20 I mean 30. 2 economic recessions when I am supposed to be building my life. Final year student in 2020. Fuck you, Corona. Old enough to start to hurt and ache. But supposedly I have another 30 years of productivity in me. Nobody likes you when you're 23. Too old to be relevant but too young to be taken seriously. Being constantly horny and hormonal. Being 21. Feel pressure to save money before I move out on my own. Bills, rent, textbooks, tuition, etc. Went to community college, paid tuition, and lived at home. Still very hormonal despite not being a teen anymore, and I'm horny and depressed all the time. At least I can drink. Edit. Just wanted to thank all of you for the great advice. I appreciate it so much. It's so hard to try to find love. Dulled emotions. Being a teenager had some very low lows, but the highs also felt higher. Now I'm in a constant state of apathy. What sucks about being 30-ish is, now you actually have to make important decisions you were putting off. Like changing career etc. My body is starting to fail me, and no matter what I can do, I can really only watch. I'm 2 months from being a legal adult. The suspense is killing me. I have a perfectly clean driving record and over 6 years of never missing an insurance payment. But the monthly insurance bill is more than my car payment. I've been to 15 different places. It all ranges from $200 to $350 a month, and I'll lose my license if I can't afford it working 9 an hour. I lose my car. I lose my job and apartment. Being 1 year closer to death than I was last year. Nearly 60. I forget things all the time. Easy to remember old things. Hard to remember new things. I once lost my card in an ATM twice in 1 month. All my passwords have to be written down somewhere. As do the birthdays of my lids. I constantly get fatter. Even though I don't eat anymore. I haven't had regular sleep patterns for 20 years. Every day I'm a little more tired. The panic is beginning to set in about what I'm going to do with my life. I also can't stop looking back on decisions I've made that drastically altered my life for the worse. I'm not old. But I'm at an age where I'm wondering what I'm going to do with the years I have left. Recently I wrote out a 10-year plan for where I want to get to. Because at this point my entire endgame is to end up with a smile on my face in the later years of my life. I'm expected to act like an adult but get treated like a child. I'm 17. Edit. Wow, my first silver. Thank you, kind stranger. 22, graduated college into a pandemic. Too young to own a house. Too old to keep living at my parents'. I wouldn't change being 41 for anything, but new aches and pains all the time definitely make it suck. I'm between the age of getting your driver's license and being a legal adult. 17 is just purgatory for privilege. Not a physical thing but more of a psychological enlightenment in my 30s and realizing how hard being an adult is and everything my parents did for me to succeed. At my age now, they already had 2 young kids running around. Meanwhile I forget to buy dog food and don't know how to do my taxes. You're too young to do things. BC, everybody finds you like a stupid child. Nobody pays attention to your opinion. You just exist. You don't live. You exist. That's terrible for a person like me. BC, I wanna do stuff. I wanna work. I wanna study the things I like. I wanna talk with elder PPL. But that's difficult. Sucks not being old enough to drink and not young enough to call yourself a teen. Remembering I am, in fact, this old, and not a 13 to 16-year-old like my heart mind keeps telling me I am. I'm 28, so I'm almost 30. Being around people that are in their late 30s or 40s feels like I'm not really an adult. But talking to their teenage kids makes me feel like I'm 100 years old. 49-year-old here. The menopausal hot flushes etc. are not a problem, but putting 4 stone in weight on in 8 months is fucking awful. I'm old enough to do the hard work. But not old enough to have my own substantial opinion on anything. Being told young people have it easy. Age 18. People say I'm an adult and I should take care of myself, but people also still say I'm a kid. With the pandemic going on, many people in my age group have just been overlooked for assistance. I'm 22, almost 23, and graduating college right now in the US. My university is in a different state from my family, so I have to pay rent for an apartment and buy my own food and all of that. But I also lost both of my part-time jobs when this all started. One as a student employee for the university. Another working in a restaurant nearby. Because I'm a student I've been ineligible to collect unemployment. And because my parents still claim me as a dependent on their taxes I don't get a stimulus check. Also because I'm over 18. My parents don't get any additional bonus to their own stimulus checks while financially supporting me as best they can. I've had ongoing issues over the past year and a half with not being able to afford food most of the time. But the problem has been especially pronounced during quarantine. I don't eat more than 1 meal a day because I need to ration what I have. If I'm in this situation, I know that there have to be others like me. The government has not and will not be giving me any sort of aid. And now as a new graduate I'm trying to apply for my first full-time job in a crashing economy where no one is hiring. At this point, my only measure of success in life will be when I can afford rent, other bills, and food. That's literally all it'll take to make me happy. And I think that sucks. I'm a 61-year-old male and these things suck. 1. I live in the U.S., and my health insurance premiums are $926 per month. I expect they will be about $1,500 per month by the time I reach 65 and qualify for Medicare. 2. It is very difficult to lose weight at my age and still maintain proper nutrition. 3. My New Year's resolution was to not groan when I get out of a chair. No wait. That was last year. This year it was to not groan when I sit down in a chair. 4. I'm widowed and lonely. Getting a date with someone I am attracted to is nearly impossible. 5. My eyes have gone to shit. So I have multiple pairs of glasses with 3 different focal lengths. 6. My dick stopped working more than a decade ago. Can't maintain an erection for more than a few minutes. If I get one at all. Thankfully. There are pills for that now, they're expensive. But then again. See number 4. 7. I really needed to take better care of my teeth. The following are things that do not suck for me at my age. 1. Although I am 61 years old, I look 50. And feel 45. But then again. See number 4 above. 2. It only cost me $9,400 for a university education back in the late 70s, only half of which were student loans. I paid them off in less than 5 years and wasn't saddled with a lifetime of debt. 3. My grandchildren are adorable. All the fun of having small children with not nearly as much responsibility. Plus I already had a dry run of how to not let them kill themselves 30 years ago. 4. I'm retired now, not a slave to the clock. But still lunch regularly with my coworkers. Or did until 2 months ago. 5. I stopped giving a fuck about what other people think of me long ago. I'm allowed to show my true self and not lie to people. I don't grandstand. I don't suck up to power or prestige. 6. I experienced the music of the 1960s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, so know what I am talking about when I say the music of 2000s really sucked donkey balls. Thankfully music started to recover in the 2010s. Unfortunately, now bands have to collaborate over Zoom. So I predict another dry spell. Late 30s. My brain still thinks I'm 20. But my joints disagree.